Picture a small, dusty village in the mountains of Sinaloa, Mexico. The sun beats down on clay houses and the air is filled with the scent of earth and poverty. In that village, a young boy named Joaquín Guzman grows up without shoes, without money, watching his family struggle. He dreams of a different life, of power, of respect. But there are no paved roads out of that village, only treacherous mountain paths. And the fastest route to the life he imagined was the one everyone warned him about: the path of the poppy, the marijuana plant, and the smuggler's trail. This is where our story begins, not with a kingpin, but with a barefoot boy. And it's the story of how that boy would build an empire, evade the world's most powerful governments, and ultimately become a prisoner of his own legend. From those humble beginnings, Joaquín, who would later be known to the world as El Chapo, learned the rules of the game on the streets. He started as a lookout, then a runner, then a young man with a sharp mind for logistics. He saw that the old ways, bribing a few policemen, moving small loads, were limited. His ambition was not. He realized the future was in moving product on an industrial scale, and to do that, you had to think like a general, not a gangster. While others fought over street corners, he was planning supply chains. His great innovation wasn't just in selling drugs, but in moving them. He turned the rugged, mountainous border between Mexico and the United States into his personal conveyor belt. And his masterpiece was hidden beneath the earth. In the dusty border city of Tijuana, just a stone's throw from the American fence, he orchestrated an engineering marvel. His crews didn't go over the border or around it, they went under it. They constructed tunnels, not just holes in the ground, but sophisticated, ventilated, electrically lit subterranean highways. Some were wide enough for a small vehicle, stretching over half a mile, opening directly into anonymous warehouses in the United States. These tunnels were his lifeline, his competitive edge, allowing him to move tons of cocaine, meth, and heroin while his rivals were stuck with risky caravans. He became a billionaire by mastering the underground, both literally and figuratively. But as his empire grew, so did the target on his back. The Mexican government, under immense pressure, finally captured him in 1993. He was sent to a high-security prison, Punta Grande. For most, this would be the end. For El Chapo, it was just another logistical challenge. On January 19, 2001, he simply walked out. The legend says he was wheeled out in a laundry cart, hidden among the soiled sheets. It was an escape that humiliated the Mexican state and cemented his myth. He wasn't just a criminal, he was a ghost, a folk hero who could outwit the system. For 13 years, he vanished into the Sierra Madre Mountains, ruling his empire from hidden compounds. He became more powerful than ever, but also more paranoid. He trusted no one, communicating through a constantly changing network of disposable cell phones. This paranoia, however, would plant the seeds of his downfall. To stay ahead of authorities, his cartel adopted a new, supposedly foolproof tool: encrypted communication devices. They believed their messages were locked in a digital vault. What they didn't know was that the vault had a backdoor. The FBI, in a global operation, had cracked the code. For months, agents listened in real time as Chapo and his lieutenants discussed murders, shipments, and bribes. Every confident order he gave was being typed into a permanent record for his eventual trial. His second capture in 2014 was dramatic, a bloody raid in the coastal city of Mazatlan, but even then, his story of escape wasn't over. Sent to the Altiplano maximum security prison, he executed his most audacious plan yet. On July 11, 2015, guards doing a routine check found his cell empty. All that remained was a hole, a sophisticated shaft that dropped 30 feet below his shower floor. At the bottom, a modified motorcycle on rails waited. It was the start of a nearly mile-long, professionally engineered tunnel, complete with lighting and oxygen pipes that surfaced in a half-built house nearby. He had tunneled out of the most secure prison in Mexico. The world was stunned. It was the ultimate testament to his resources, his patience, and his obsession with control this second escape forced everyone's hand. The international manhunt intensified, and a year later, in a desperate and messy raid in the city of Los Mochis, he was captured for the final time. This time, Mexico would not risk a third humiliation. He was swiftly extradited to the United States to face American justice. His trial in a Brooklyn courthouse in 2018 was less about whether he was guilty. The mountain of evidence from those encrypted messages made that clear, and more about the scale of his empire. Witness after witness, including his own lieutenants, described a world of staggering brutality and even more staggering wealth. They spoke of tons of drugs, of billions of dollars, of rivals tortured and dissolved in acid. The barefoot boy from La Tuna had become the most powerful drug trafficker in history, and for that, the judge sentenced him to life in prison plus 30 years with a note that he must never be released. Today, Joaquín El Chapo Guzman exists in a world of absolute silence. He is inmate number 8991453 at ADX Florence, the most secure prison in America, nicknamed the Alcatraz of the Rockies. His cell is concrete and steel. His window is a slit showing only a sliver of sky. He spends 23 hours a day alone. There are no tunnels here. The only thing beneath him is more concrete. The man who mastered the underground is now buried alive by the state, a king in a kingdom no larger than a bathroom. The story that began on a dirt path in Sinaloa ends here, in a sterile, silent, and utterly inescapable box. The ghost has finally been caged.